and be a part of these groups. When you look at these pictures, this is what our life was before. And we know that kids are struggling, and families are struggling, parents are struggling, we're all struggling. And so we're super excited to be able to open our doors to as many children as we can fill it with, to bring the social and emotional development back. And so this will be a critical piece. We're going to start slow and really build the kids of where they need to be and really fill their buckets, so that there's other adults who are filling it. Because there's kids, you guys can fill their buckets and you do an amazing job with it, but some kids need that teacher influence to fill it, or they need their friends to fill it, or they need different aspects. So we're super excited to be able to offer that, so that some of these kids can get back. We had one family who started this summer, and they said that their child was having fits every single day, and they came back to school and the fits stopped. And so that's not necessarily like, we are so happy to be offering that, but it's just that kids need to have that social connection with their friends. Did I hit everything?
Yeah, you're good. As I mentioned earlier, that we really work towards treating children as individuals, and the picture just kind of shows you an example. So this is the end of the day. The kids are tired. So we don't have an expectation that they have to sit up and sit crisscross applesauce. We don't have a need for that. We can be flexible. They can lay on their stomach. They can lay on their back. They can get themselves comfortable. There's some tools they can use to help support them in sitting. So we're looking at what they need as individuals to be able to be successful. And that's just a little snapshot of how we do this. We do this throughout every day, every part of every day. If a child isn't ready to come to a circle for the full time, maybe they can only join us for the last 2 minutes. And so we start there and then we build it, because that's what that child needs. So we have a lot of flexibility in our expectations with goals in mind, and meeting them where they're at.
And you'll see this across the board within our programs. And so you'll see us treating children as individuals. If you ever question like why we're doing something for one child and not the other, we welcome that conversation with you. But not only do we treat children as individuals, we treat our staff as individuals, we treat you as families as individuals. And we are looking for everybody's strength and supporting areas of not necessarily weakness, but areas that still need to be developed. All right, so this is your guys' homework for this weekend, and it is super, super important. So everybody wake up. Before Monday, we need you to set up your Brightwheel profile. Brightwheel is our new software program that we're using for a lot of different aspects of our business. And number one, it is the process that we're using so that you can sign your child in and out. Not only does it sign, do you guys need it, but any authorized person that you want to sign your child in or out. So your first step is to download the app. You should have all been sent an invitation via email. So you need to go to that email because that's going to give you the code you need. If you don't have the code, then you need to let us know and we're happy to text it to you. So you download the app, you get started, you put in your code. First step is you need to edit your profile, not your child's profile, but yours. If you want the messages to go into your text string, then you need to add your cell number. And then all messages that we send go into the text stream versus going just into the app. And then if you have a 4-digit code that you need to use to sign your child in and out with, I changed mine to a number that is a common 4-digit code for me, so I don't have to remember another one. That is also within your profile to do that. You can either take the one that they give you or you can change it. It's up to you, but you need to remember it. If you change it, I don't know what it is. If you don't change it, I still don't know what it is, actually. But it's important for you to remember that code. After you've edited your profile, then you need to go and edit as many children as you have coming into our program. Add a picture of your child is super helpful for us. Then you need to update the personal information section. There's one section that says personal information, update that section, and then page down a little bit and there's a section that says contacts. Anyone who's in your contact section, you're gonna choose if you want them to be an authorized pickup. If they are an authorized pickup, then it's gonna ask you if you want to send them an invitation. You're gonna say yes. You want to send them an invitation. Once they get the invitation, then they need to go and do the same thing and figure out their profile. If somebody comes to us who is not an authorized pickup and doesn't have the app, then we're stuck. Like this is our sign in and out process. We can do one-offs, we have a way to do it, but if it's gonna be somebody who's gonna be on your authorized pickup, they need to have the app. I think a message may have come in, Jen. I don't know if you're monitoring that.
I don't think I can watch the notes and chat. Oh, on the chat, there is one.
Yeah, I can't get to it for some reason.
Okay. The question is, if each parent has the app, do they each need to update their individual parent profile? And the answer is yes, because you each have to have a code to be able to sign in and sign out your child.
And you need to put your cell phone if you want the messages to come into your text string. But only one of you needs to do the authorized pickup under the child's profile.
Oh, right.
And there's two choices. One's like to call in case of emergency and they're not authorized. I don't know why you would want me to call anyone in case of emergency if you haven't authorized them to pick up, but that's your choice. And then the other ones are you make them authorized pickup. So if it's just an emergency contact phone number, then they do not get sent any information. If it is somebody who's authorized to pick up, they get any picture we put on of your child, they get our newsletters, they basically get everything that you're getting. So even if you don't want them to pick up, but you want the grandparents to see pictures of your kid at school, you could add them. That would be an option. If you get stuck, please, please, please come ask us for help, all right? Because this is super important.
If the question is, if we add our parents and they download the app, do they get the daily updates? The answer is yes.
Yeah. The only daily updates we're doing on Brightwheel is if your child naps and whatever your temperature is coming in. But we're not doing like what they ate when they went to the bathroom, things like that. I assume that's to be true.
Yeah. The communication, so Brightwheel is our primary form of communication. That's where we're doing our group messages. We used to do Remind. We're no longer using that. We're just using the Brightwheel messages. The newsletter will come out there. Pictures of your children will be there. That's how we're doing our billing. Another source of information is our website, winnerstreehouse.com. There's a forms and resources tab, and under there's a tab for parent resources. Our cell phone, the Treehouse cell phone, we're still using. The Clubhouse cell phone, if you were using that before, we're not using that anymore. And then we have our Treehouse landline. If you need something that needs to urgently be attended to, please use the landline. We always pick that up during business hours, and that's the best way to get something that's urgent to us. And then the billing address, previously when we were using QuickBooks, it was a Clubhouse email. Now we're just using Office at Winners Treehouse is our email. And then there's a comment from Margaret saying that notifications can be turned off. So there is some options about how that happens. But if, say, you have a grandparent and they are authorized to pick up, they will get all those notifications in their app. So they could go see that, is the way I understand it. Is that right, Cheryl?
That's how I understand it too.
It won't come into their text string, but there's not a way to turn it off. But Margaret, if you know tricks, then we should talk, because we have been trying to figure that part out.
And you should just know with us and Brightwheel, it's a brand new system that we're using. We are on our end, it looks very different. So it's hard for us to give very specific directions to you because we don't have kids in the program. So we're looking at it as an admin, and we're asking for help from families when we get stuck. So bear with us as we go through it. I think once everybody gets up and running with it, it's a great program, and I think we're really gonna like it. But we will need a little bit of patience moving forward.
So here's the procedure for how you check in your child. So you no longer have to grab the Germy pen that was sitting there and the 10 people before you used to sign in and sign out their child. Now you're gonna do it all on your phone, but you do need your phone every single time. So you're gonna go into your Brightwheel app and you'll see that first screen. This family has 3 children. You're going to mark check-in, and then up comes your camera to be able to scan the QR code. So that QR code is specific to the Treehouse Children's Center. It will be on the back of a clipboard that the teacher will be holding. So that's how you'll get the QR code. Right now it's hanging on the door. That's going to change as of Monday. From there, you're going to click for each child that you're going to check them in. And then the next screen is a confirmation. So you'll click confirm, and then it asks you to put in your 4-digit code again. And then it asks for a signature. And then the final screen is that you have the green success one. If you don't have that green success screen, it didn't work. So you need to ask for help, and we'll help you through it. But that's what you want to look for. It looks complicated because it's like 6 steps. It's very quick. Once you get it, I don't think you'll have any trouble getting through it. But just make sure you get that green success before you walk away. And then our process is when your child arrives is first you check them in, and then we will do the screening process, and then they enter the school, and then you leave. So that's the sequence. You check them in, we screen them, they enter the school, and then you leave.
And if you are signed up on Brightwheel and your partner is not, if you add your partner as a contact, then you can send them an invite. So like Moira, Thad just asked for to be added, but you can add him yourself as a contact, and then he should be able to set up from there. If that doesn't work, let me know. But and sometimes there's a little bit of trick of knowing the magic numbers. So let me know if you need the magic numbers. I have the power. So additional health protocols, things are a little bit different, obviously, with dealing with COVID. We've gone through quite a journey this summer of trying to figure out exactly how this is going to look and what's best for the teachers, what's best for the kids, what's best for the families. And we have settled on staff will be wearing masks all day. We played around with face shields and realized that masks are better. We are not asking children to mask. If you want your child to wear a mask, then come talk to us and we can have a discussion about it. Parents are required to wear, well, back to staff. If I was outside with my pod and they were all playing in the sandbox and I stepped back 20 feet, I'm gonna pull down my mask just to breathe a little bit. But as soon as a child or staff was to come up to me, then I would put my mask back on. We have great masks right now that we feel very fortunate to have that work really well, where you can put them down and they are around your neck, and then you can just stick them back up over your ears. And the teachers are all really liking them. So if you see a staff without their mask on, it's because they've stepped back and they're taking a breather. Parents are required to wear a mask at drop off and pick up. If you don't have one, you will be provided a disposable one, and we're really strict about it. We ask that you follow those procedures. And then we ask all families to strictly follow all current Yolo County guidelines. And so some of those guidelines are obviously wearing a mask when you're in a store or doctor or whatever. That's pretty required. But the other big thing right now of where our problem of transmission is that people are going into, they're leaving their bubble. So decide what your bubble is. Like maybe, you know, Janet's family and my family are a bubble. Well, but we don't invite in anyone else into our bubble. So it's okay for you guys to choose who's in that bubble, but you just have to follow those rules. So if somebody is coming over to dinner and they're not in your bubble, then you're not following Yolo County guidelines.
Or you're staying physically distanced from them.
If you're going out of your bubble.
Yeah, so whenever you're out of your bubble, you're physically distanced and or wearing a mask.
Yeah. So we ask people to be very strict with this. We are not the COVID police. We don't want the job of having to make those decisions for every family. We are just asking you guys to follow the rules. And we trust that you will. And you following the rules helps protect the entire program, because if you have a positive case of COVID within your pod, that pod gets shut down. And then we go through Yolo County rules of how to get that program back up and running. So it behooves everybody to follow the rules because that keeps your pod open. And we get that you can follow all the rules and you can still get COVID. So we don't want you to feel shamed if somebody in your house does get it. We are believing that everybody is doing the best they can, and still people will probably get COVID. So we understand